Okay, let's do one more sample Murdle from this collection of Murdle Jr. This is volume 1. We will now look at episode number 8. Here it is on some paper so we can write on it. That's not the first page of it. That's the second page. All right, the end of the scribbled line. Was Jake right, or was the principal apple green? The one and only thing they knew for sure is that just one of them was going to be at Sacred Academy Kidney tomorrow. Sorry. That is, of course, unless one of the other two suspects was behind it after all. Now, here are the 4 suspects. Who is it? Brick is the first person's name. This kid is a punk bully, and nothing would make Jake happier than proving he deserves to be kicked out. This is information about him, like his height, which hand he uses, color of hair, and color of eyes. Principal Apple Green. Jake's not sure if she hates him specifically or if she just hates authority everywhere. Miss Saffron. She's a nice teacher. Everybody seems to love her. The perfect disguise. Again, all the information about them below. And then Jake, of course, that's the detective. And most kids could not break into the principal's office and get him expelled, but Jake's not most kids. She's quite the detective, you know. Let's see. This is the answer to the one before, so we ignore it. And this says, what is the clue that revealed everything? One of these 4 is the clue that reveals everything, right? Raspberry's letter. There's something weird about the signature here, or what it's signed with. And this letter is lightweight. It's not very heavy. There's a big bunch of cash. The only thing that's more dangerous than a big bunch of cash is 2 big bunches of cash. It's medium in weight. If you look into the ferret's eyes, they will reveal the secrets of the universe. And the ferret is medium weight, and this is the only heavy weight. Why is this old petrified body part even worth stealing? It's a sacred kidney. A little disgusting there, but oh well. Put this to the side so that you can see it or pull it up on another screen. So, looking at this next little bit, why were they getting kicked out? There are 4 possible reasons. Reckless driving. It certainly wasn't reckless driving. Violation of zoning laws. Some of the zoning laws are particularly strict. Generally being a bully. This isn't technically illegal, but it's highly frowned upon. Selling off the school's relics. Sacred Kidney has a bunch of expensive relics, but fewer than it used to. Okay, now here are the clues, and then at the very end, we'll look at that, okay? I'm gonna work this one all the way out. I know on the last one, we just solved it and stopped without figuring everything out. Principal Apple Green would never drive recklessly. He values his car too much. He is the mustache-looking thing. And driving recklessly, you can see, is this car crash. So he would never do that. X. Brick has never heard of zoning laws. Never even heard of zoning laws. Nor is he able to violate them. So Brick is the fist, and the zoning laws would be this symbol right here, and that is not the reason for Brick, okay? Miss Saffron had a big bunch of cash. She claims she got it from Miss Ruby, which is a red herring because we don't have any information about Miss Ruby at this point in this story. Miss Saffron had a big bunch of cash. Now there's a real clue. Miss Saffron is the beau, and she had a big bunch of cash. So that would be this section down here when we line up under her, and she had a big bunch of cash, so we're going to put a check mark there. And if we put a check mark there, then the rest of this column has to be X's, and the rest of that row has to be X's, because as you know, each row and column in the mini square has only one check, and the rest would be X's. Jake was holding a heavyweight clue. There was only one heavyweight clue, and that was the sacred kidney. So let's go to Jake, and let's go down to the sacred kidney, and that's what Jake was holding. So we're going to put a check there that she had that. X out the rest of that column and the rest of that row. Okay. And moving on, we did that clue. The person who would be selling relics was holding Raspberry's letter. Okay, now who would be selling relics? Selling relics is this symbol over here. It's like the hand with money in it. That's selling relics. And it said they would be holding Raspberry's letter. And the symbol for Raspberry's letter is this. So I need to line up the letter and the selling relics and put a check mark there. Almost cut the wrong square. And that is in this little mini square. So that gives me X's in that. Whoa. It kind of looks like I did this differently last time, which is a little bit weird. Oh well. That's fine. Okay, put a check. The person who had the ferret was driving recklessly. So there's a driving recklessly one, and it goes across, and that's the person who had the ferret. So I'm going to put a check mark there, X out the rest of that row, X out the rest of that column. Okay, we're moving along. We have one more clue. Remember, there is a hint down here. If we ever need it, we could turn the book upside down and read it. Miss Saffron was not bullying anyone. Okay, Miss Saffron was not bullying. And the symbol for bullying is this locker thing. Oh, well, that makes sense. Was not bullying anyone. Okay. So there we go. Now we have to try to piece these things together and see if we can backfill our Murdle. This is a good exercise in some backfill. So I'm going to start with these sections that are mostly filled in and try to work this little square against this little square. So I noticed that the heavy object, that is going to have to line up. I'll have to put a check here somewhere for Jake, because we know Jake, she had the heavy object, okay? Now, we already know the heavy object isn't here, right? So this cannot be Jake. And we know the heavy object is not here, so it cannot be Jake. So we have two possibilities for where the heavy object could be. Let's look at this one. Here we know that this is the money bag. Now, who do we know does not have the money bag? Well, not who do we know? I'm just saying, where do we need to X out? So the money bag over here, we have an X there, so it can't be that square, and it can't be this square. I hope that's making sense, right? So I had a check in money bag here, and so I went over here, and if I have an X, then I could not put a check there if there's an X there, because you can't have a check and an X, right? They have to match up. So now we're looking good, because since I have 3 here, that must be a check, and that must be a check. And if this is a check, then those are X's. And if this is a check, then those are X's. And we're just moving right along. That has to be a check, that has to be an X, that has to be a check, and we've got that section done. Now let's fill out in the bottom down here, okay? So we have the raspberry, I think it's the raspberry letter with the school relic selling off, and that's in the principal. So I need to go down here under the principal and put a check on the raspberry letter. Then I'm going to X that out, and now I'm done at the bottom. So once I have 2 of these completely done, either these 2 or these 2, then I know all the answers to the puzzle. I can answer everything. Okay, and we haven't done this before. We might do it this time or look at the answers in the back. It says, it was Raspberry's letter that gave away the culprit. So I'm going to go to the one that has Raspberry's letter. This is what gave away the culprit. So we're able to tell from that who was the guilty party. Okay, so who was it? Let's see, that would be this column. It's the principal. apple green. And what was, the what is right here, and it was the raspberry letter. I'm abbreviating this time. And why, that's this category, why is right here. And that was in the selling off school relics, right? Selling school relics. Okay, now I want you to see that we can also tell all the information about all the others. For example, the bully, what was his name? Brick. Brick was reckless driving, and the clue was the ferret's eyes. So in the back of the book again, I don't think I have this page marked, but I bet I can find it pretty quickly. Yep, there we go. Episode 8, Brick, the ferret, reckless driving. So we can check all of these. The other answers are, and you can go back to your puzzle and look, Miss Saffron, a big bunch of cash, and zoning laws. Let's look at that. Miss Saffron, zoning laws, big bunch of cash, yep. And then finally, Jake, the sacred kidney, generally being a bully. Jake, she always wears that hat. Being a bully, sacred kidney, okay? So you see how we can fill out the whole thing and know everybody's situation there. Okay, that concludes my samples.